Welcome to Samarkand for Uzbekistan Economic Forum 2022, where I am delighted to be joined by Mr. Shixin Chen, Vice President of the Asian Development Bank. Thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome. Yes, thank you.
So what are the priorities of ADB currently in the region?
The region just facing a very challenging period in terms of lots of headwinds, COVID-19 pandemic, and then after that is external shocks. Then it makes the situation quite dire than ever before in terms of trade, tourism, remittance, and also supply chain disruptions. So all these kind of things compounded together. The region, generally speaking, facing a fiscal deficit increasing, and also the volatility of the currency situation as well, and also the supply chain difficult, comes to the result of a very difficult situation, food security, energy security, and also how government support the structural reform agenda. This is kind of a very challenging period. But for ADB, we're also looking at crisis is crisis. At the same time, how about opportunities? So we need to pay more attention during the very challenging period, how to look at work on some opportunity windows. So with that, I think maybe a couple of areas the region can explore the way of cushioning the development of the economy and the social as well. The first, the most important, is trying to change the development model from a traditional way. This is a good opportunity for understanding we need to go green. So shift to the green growth would be something huge kind of opportunity there. For instance, CCA region, they have lots of chance on the supply side, like the renewable energy, which will able to attract a lot of investment. Actually, the private sector is very interesting about that. The condition of investment is there. At the same time, the energy efficiency as well. So you can see lots of many years, the hydropower, it's also overdated. So rehabilitation will be definitely updated and increase the capacity of there with the same source of a water supply as well. On the demand side, we have the idea of the e-mobility, so e-buses, a motorcycle, and also e-procurement. So those from the demand side, you can see this is a kind of huge kind of opportunity. But thing is that how we reform our system, specifically the upstream, then can help enable those kind of investment, and then we can come up with green growth. So this is something very important. Second, we are thinking about the human capital development. We're still facing a shortage for the long-standing period of less investment in the human capital. If you invest in education, the growth curve will be getting deeper. So that means we'll get a quicker growth with the short of the part of the bottle. So we can somehow fix that as well. For the human capital development, education especially, we are looking at the high quality of education here in the region. So then can provide more skilled people, young generation, for the market, for the demand against the growth trend. Another area is looking at the remote area, vulnerable group, including the women and the girls. Then they will also add lots of skilled labor force participation as well. Not to mention the healthcare sector as well. Private sector now also look at the healthcare area, so this is a huge kind of opportunities as well, like hospitals, medicines, essential supplies. The third area is we really like to support and boost the private sector participation. So it's not only traditional ways, but for support enabling the private sector improve the doing business, and then the private sector can come in for many emerging areas like digitalization, e-commerce, huge kind of the potentials there. Then we need to support that. ADB also very interesting about support the PPP, public-private partnership. So huge kind of demands there as well. So first P is the public, second P, they can work together, share the risk, and then they can go somewhere where supposed to be very difficult, supposed to only can invested by the government, but now able to invite the private sector. So this is, I think, the areas, the region, CCA, we need to focus on, we need to work on, and IFI really keen about to support them, yeah, in terms of this.
Uzbekistan is organizing its second economic forum. What progress, what change have you seen over the last year, over the past 12 months?
Two dimensions. One is the challenges changing. Last year, COVID definitely, but we're also talking about that end of the tunnel of the light, but suddenly, external shocks. And also now there's the interest rate increasing. So the whole environment for investment may be tightening. And also the government fiscal space is also somehow changing as well. So this is a kind of changing there. But Uzbekistan, I would like to see the very impressive thing is that the commitment of reform from the government is very, very strong. And they do have the vision of how they are going to towards for the future. So they have the National Development Strategy 2022 to 2026, which defined how they are going to move ahead. Many dimensions, the private sector reform and also SOE reform as well. Now they are talking about how to attract the more private sector participation, and also how to reform the banking sector as well. How to think about invest for the food security. For instance, how to invest for the agriculture infrastructure to increase the productivity of the agriculture, and also working more on the value chain about agriculture, the agribusiness development as well. And also they are looking at the social protection, social stability, which is very much important to pave the way for the longer-term development. So more attention to the vulnerable groups, to support people who've been affected by the COVID as well as external shocks, and also the energy, whereas I talk about the region, energy security, renewable energy increase, targeting 2030, 30% of the energy come from the renewable energy, and even solar and wind, huge kind of potential here. So talking about 2030, 12 gigawatts. So those kind of things, I think it's really something put on the table, and also the MDBs, ADB, would like to provide with the support.
Mr. Chen, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.